ever wished you could, like, I don't know, teleport into the future? Just for a bit, to see where AI is going.
Sounds like a cool sci-fi movie.
Right. But seriously, today's deep dive is almost as good. We're checking out HuggingFace spaces. It's like, if you imagine a giant expo, but online and all about AI projects, that's kind of the vibe I get.
I see it. And the best part is you don't need to be a coding whiz to get it. It's all about making AI accessible.
Exactly. And let's be real, seeing AI in action is way more exciting than just reading about it, right? It's like telling someone about a delicious meal versus actually letting them taste it. And judging by the Spaces page on Hugging Face's website, this meal has a pretty diverse menu, to say the least.
You got that right. What's caught your eye so far?
Okay, so one that really blew my mind was Open Notebook LM. Picture this. You're working on a project, right? Tons of notes, research all over the place. This AI is like your superpowered research assistant, takes notes, sure, but then it connects the dots between your ideas, almost like it's brainstorming with you. How cool is that?
That's the beauty of Spaces right there. Taking these complex AI concepts and making them useful for everyday stuff, even if you're not a coder yourself.
100%. Oh, and there's this other one. It's called Oryx. Honestly, even the name is intriguing, right? I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say it definitely piqued my curiosity.
They've got a real knack for names over there. And yeah, there really is something for everyone. The variety is incredible.
Okay, one more I got to mention because this one just screams future, you know. It's called Depth Crafter. So, like, we experience the world in 3D, right? This AI can actually see depth, just like we do. The implications for robotics and stuff, it's mind-blowing.
It is fascinating how AI is starting to perceive the world more like humans, where depth isn't just a calculation, but something it actually understands.
So we've established that these spaces are super cool, but how's it all work? Under the hood, is it crazy complicated?
Not as much as you'd think, actually. Hugging Face, they're pretty smart. They give developers these things called SDKs, software development kits, if you want to be official. Basically, think of them as toolboxes, but specifically for building AI demos.
So instead of starting from scratch every time, they've got these pre-made sets of tools. Makes sense.
Okay. Exactly. And there's a bunch of options. Gradio, Streamlit, Docker, even good old static HTML means developers can use what they're most comfortable with.
So it's like choosing the right brush for your masterpiece, just, you know, digital. Okay, but where does all the code for these spaces, like live, it's not just floating around in cyberspace, right?
You'd be surprised what floats around in cyberspace these days. But you're right, there's a system. It's called Git repositories. Imagine like a shared online folder. That's where the code lives. And every single change they make, it's tracked, like a history book of the project.
Meticulous. But speaking of meticulous, running these AI models, that can't be easy on the system, right? What about resources and stuff?
You're spot on. AI can be a resource hog, no doubt. That's why they offer different tiers, you know. There's the free tier, which honestly isn't bad for starting out. You get 16 gigs of RAM, 2 CPU cores, and 50 gigs of disk space.
Okay, so that's decent for messing around, but what if you're doing something more intense? Need some extra muscle behind it? What then?
That's where the paid upgrades come in. We're talking serious horsepower here. You can get access to GPUs. Those are specialized processors designed for AI. You've got your NVIDIA T4s, even the A100 if you're feeling really ambitious, and obviously more RAM, more storage, all that good stuff.
Okay, so they've got options for scaling up. Makes sense. But those upgrades, they can get pricey, right?
Yeah.
Especially for like independent developers or researchers. Not everyone has unlimited funds. What happens then?
It's a valid concern. And this is where Hugging Face, I think, really shows they care about the community. They've got these things called community grants.
Okay, so it's like a way to support projects, even if they don't have a huge budget.
Right. It's about democratizing AI, making it accessible to everyone.
Love that. Okay, so moving on. There were a bunch of other things on the Spaces overview page that caught my eye, like this whole thing about being able to duplicate spaces. So wait, I can find a space. Let's say it's using some AI model to, I don't know, generate music, and I can just copy the whole thing, like make my own version of it.
That's the idea. No need to reinvent the wheel. It's all about building off each other's work.
That's kind of revolutionary when you think about it. Like having open source code, but for AI projects.
Exactly. And it gets even cooler. Spaces can actually talk to other stuff online, too. Other apps, websites, that kind of thing.
Now that sounds interesting, but kind of complicated. Can you give me an example, like, how would that work in real life?
Sure. Let's say you've got a space that uses AI to, I don't know, analyze stock market data. by connecting it to a live stock market API, which is basically a way for systems to share info. Your space could give you real-time insights, predictions, all that.
Okay, that's next level stuff. All right, back to the Spaces overview. This whole lifecycle management thing sounds a bit intense. No.
It's simpler than it sounds, don't worry. Basically, if you're on the free tier and your space just sits there unused for a while, it kind of goes into sleep mode just to save resource
Well,
lock.
it's not like they delete your whole project.
Nope. It's all safe. Really worth that in, you got to go for the paid plan. Makes sense, right?
Makes sense to me. Okay, one more thing, and this is for our security-minded listeners out there. They mentioned this thing called secrets and variables. Sounds kind of like a spy movie, huh?
Well, the goal is kind of similar, keeping things under wraps. Imagine you've built a space and it needs to connect to your Twitter account, right? You wouldn't want your password just sitting there in the code for anyone to see.
Oh, yeah, that'd be bad news. My Twitter feed would be chaos.
Exactly. So secrets, that's their way of letting you store that kind of sensitive stuff, passwords, API keys, all that, without compromising security, like a digital vault.
Okay, good to know. Makes me feel better about experimenting with this stuff, that's for sure. Sounds like they've really thought about security.
Security is huge for them, definitely. They want developers to focus on building cool AI stuff, not worrying about vulnerabilities.
Speaking of building cool stuff, the Spaces overview also mentioned linking models and datasets directly to your Spaces readm file. And just so everyone's on the same page, a readme file is like your quick start guide, right? For your space.
Yeah, like a little instruction manual. And linking the models and data sets there, it's all about transparency, giving credit where it's due.
Yeah.
So if your space uses, say, a specific data set, you can link right to the source. People can see where it came from, maybe even use it in their own projects.
Makes it easier to track down the building blocks of your AI creation. This is great for discoverability too, right? Like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs.
100%. Makes the whole AI ecosystem richer, more collaborative.
Okay, I think it's safe to say HuggingFace has really thought of everything with Spaces.
Yeah, they've really outdone themselves. It's an amazing platform, that's for sure.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. Tell me about it. It's like we've gone from what even is a HuggingFace space to like actually understanding the nuts and bolts, the possibilities, even some of the ethical stuff that comes with it.
It's been quite a journey. And, it really drives home the point that you don't need to be some kind of tech genius to appreciate this stuff. Just browsing around, HuggingFace spaces, playing with the demos, seeing what people are building, it's inspiring.
It's like a playground, but instead of swings, you've got cutting-edge AI models. Pretty cool trade-off, in my book.
I'd say. Who knows, maybe this will inspire some of our listeners to build something amazing themselves. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, I have to ask. If you could build any AI demo, no limits, anything goes, what would it be? Let that imagination run wild.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. See, this is where I get stuck. Too many ideas. Okay, I think. I'd build a space where you can interact with historical figures, like AI-powered chatbots, but done really well. Imagine having a conversation with Cleopatra about ancient Egypt, or debating philosophy with Socrates.
Okay, that's amazing. I can already picture myself getting totally lost in conversation with, like, Marie Curie or someone. Talk about bringing history to life.
Right. And because it's a HuggingFace space, anyone could experience that, learn from it, maybe even challenge their own views on history.
See, that's what makes this so cool. It's not just about showing off AI. It's about making it matter to people, making them think, making them curious.
Exactly. Who knows what incredible experiences people will create next? That's what I'm excited about.
And there you have it, folks. We've journeyed into the world of HuggingFace spaces. We've explored their potential, demystified the techie stuff, and hopefully sparked some AI inspiration along the way. Now it's your turn. Head over to HuggingFace Spaces, try out some demos, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next big thing in AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those AI dreams alive.